What I conclude then is that the SEC is filing this motion because it is nervous about the defense and wants it out. And why would the SEC be nervous about it? Well, the SEC tells us right in its letter to the judge, so let's take a look. Look at that. Quote, "These allegations also the basis of Ripple's attempts to seek a multitude of privileged SEC deliberations will lead to wasteful forays in this litigation," close quote. Look at that again. Ripple attempts to seek a multitude of SEC deliberations. Now, to its credit, the SEC isn't hiding the ball. What's going on here is that the discovery phase of the case has begun, and there have been formal requests for documents and written responses to questions. And one of those questions and documents Ripple wants to get are the transcripts of the SEC deliberations about XRP, when it was talking about whether XRP is a security or not, what it told various exchanges that wanted to sell XRP. And what this paragraph tells me is that not only is the SEC worried about the affirmative defense, they are also worried about what Ripple might find out in discovery, because you are only allowed to get discovery on things that are reasonably relevant to the lawsuit at hand. I use the example, if I sue you for money that you owe me, I don't get to ask about your daughter's personal life and discovery at a deposition. It's not relevant. If the SEC wins on this motion, most of those questions about FinCEN and discussion with exchanges and all that stuff becomes not relevant to the case, and it's not discoverable. So that's why this is a key motion. So the SEC is fighting to get the defense removed, not only to remove the defense, but also to keep Ripple from obtaining certain discovery. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of a discovery battle, and apparently it is the SEC who might have some skeletons in its closet.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another one. And I wanted to start this video off with that clip from Jeremy Hogan, once again, talking about the skeletons in the closet for the SEC. So apparently in this discovery phase, I'm still learning all the legal jargon and so on, but apparently Ripple has brought to the surface or requested some information that the SEC does not want to expose. So I'm thinking, potentially in response to that, they came out with the asking for Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson's personal financial information from 8 years ago, back to 8 years ago, from like 6 different banks, I believe. But anyway, if you want to watch this whole video, definitely check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Jeremy Hogan is constantly keeping everybody updated with the case from a professional's perspective, so check it out. But as I said, so Ripple executives ask court to block SEC requests for personal financial records. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and executive chairman Chris Larson asked Judge Sarah Netburn to block subpoenas sent to multiple banks seeking 8 years worth of their financial information. They stated the request is wholly inappropriate overreach, since the case relates to the alleged sale of unregistered securities and is a non-fraud litigation. Right, they also argue their personal financial lives are not relevant, though they have already agreed to provide some financial information. Kind of like the argument that Jeremy Hogan presented in that clip. The SEC has not offered and cannot provide a coherent explanation for why it is entitled to this information, is what they state. So they are definitely trading blows back and forth, both asking for things that make the other uncomfortable. So we'll see how this plays out. It's just getting kind of interesting. In the end, who knows what happens, right? So the news of the day concerning Bitcoin is that its technicals aren't looking good. Just as I've been saying, not going to deep dive this article I've shown you before. RSI is trending down, showing a bearish divergence, as well as it looks like we're hitting a double top, basically, for Bitcoin. All right, we'll see what happens, but to me, it does not look good for Bitcoin. We'll see how it plays out for everything else. But taking a look at the chart, once again, I want to show you guys a few things I'm seeing that look almost identical, right? So, I mean, you can see this pattern, little fractal, whatever you want to call it, playing out in Bitcoin. All right, I've been following this for a while. I might have called top early a few too many times. I thought we would struggle making a new all-time high with Bitcoin. Instead, we blasted through it. But either way, you can see we printed an almost identical fractal once again. And this thing looks like it's ready to continue downward, in my opinion. And as I've said before, I don't think this is the end of the cycle. I think we're only getting started, at least for an alt season. But for Bitcoin, I would not be surprised to see something like this play out. All right. And interestingly enough, that little pattern that I clipped from last year, or 2019 rather, would take us all the way down to the support levels that we're expecting to hit right here. That 28,000, 29,000 area would be our local bottom pretty much. So I'm thinking we see something more like this. We'll see how it plays out, but I think that you can see that, and then maybe one of these to end the year, and that would take us right up to the top of that logarithmic curve like I've been talking about. So I think this is more suiting, right? Maybe when we see the sell-off from Bitcoin, we see the money flow into alts. That's kind of what I'm expecting. And then here, bottom, everything shifts over to Bitcoin again. Bitcoin rides up, and then you get one more alt season to end the year. But as I said, this little structure that I've put together for you takes us right to the end of the year. And historically speaking, Bitcoin always peaks in December. So I think that it aligns with everything that I'm saying. All right, we'll see what happens, but this is what I'm thinking. All right. And as I mentioned with the alt season, well, I don't think that if you come over to Coinbase and you go to tradable assets, I don't think that Coinbase came here and added all these different altcoins, 46 of them, at least in my location, that I can trade, just so that they can run Bitcoin up. Obviously, they aren't the only people buying it up, but they play a major role. If you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I doubt that their plan was to run Bitcoin up once and then crash the market, and that's it. And none of the altcoins go up, and we just have a little DeFi and an NFT season, and that's it. No, I don't believe that, and I don't believe that Grayscale is holding $43.7 billion worth of crypto, and so $7 billion of that would be in altcoins. That's still a pretty good chunk, like what, 20% almost. So they're expecting some kind of run on altcoins, aren't they? I think they might know a little more than us as well. So, but if you want to keep up with Grayscale's updates on what they have under management, you can follow them on Twitter. They usually post these clips from time to time. So, speaking of Grayscale, ETF was the theme for them today and yesterday. So anyway, they are coming out with this planned ETF that would invest in Grayscale's GBTC to sidestep SEC's crypto reluctance. According to a prospectus filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Tuesday, the Simplify U.S. Equity Plus Bitcoin ETF would invest in cryptocurrency indirectly via the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, as well as equity securities of U.S. companies. So it's like a fund that's going to invest in some companies and then simultaneously put in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust so that you can buy it without having to invest directly in the trust, and you could get it out of the OTC markets. All right. Same topic still, Grayscale ETFs. So the world's biggest crypto fund manager is hiring 9 ETF-related specialists in anticipation of approval of the first U.S. crypto ETF. So if you come down here, they just wanted to show you how they have a bunch of different ETF job postings here on LinkedIn. So ETF compliance officer, ETF creation and redemption specialist, ETF product development specialist. So if you're interested in these kind of jobs and it applies to your skills, then go ahead and check it out. But anyway, the theme of the day is Grayscale ETFs, and the ETFs are coming. So Bitcoin won't be the only one, guys. This is a new asset class, and it's just a matter of time before this thing starts to explode. And I'm telling you this because I see a lot of people that seem anxious as to if we're going to get an alt season or this and that, we're going to get more than an alt season, right? When this mass adoption phase happens with these ETFs, you will be so happy that you were just patient and you sat this thing through all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? Next up, this is funny, right? Because yesterday I talked about how Binance had added a prior U.S. senator to their board. Well, today we hear that they're being investigated by the CFTC. Not a coincidence, probably, right? So, major crypto exchange Binance is being investigated by the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission over concerns that it allowed Americans to place wagers that violated U.S. rules. The CFTC is seeking to determine whether Binance, which isn't registered with the agency, permitted U.S. residents to buy and sell derivatives that the regulator polices. Right? Not much else to say here other than they're being investigated. At this point, what happens with them? I don't know. Will Binance get shut down if they got into some legal issues? Probably not. Since they have so much money now at this point, it might just be a fine. But interesting nonetheless, and it probably correlates with them hiring that senator to be on their board. All right. Next up, PayPal's entry to crypto followed long buildup in enterprise. Last year's launch of crypto market was the culmination of finding the right talent and working with Paxos Trust, a regulatory technology provider. The CTO of PayPal's blockchain unit says, only a few pieces I wanted to highlight here for you guys. So, over the past few weeks, they say several other companies have announced their plans for cryptocurrencies ranging from Tesla to MasterCard and BNY Mellon. The recent stir is likely just the beginning of digital currencies inching closer into the mainstream, experts say. As I said, it's coming. Don't worry. Don't sweat it. You just gotta wait, right? The demand is there, says Oliver Bussman, the chief executive of Bussman Advisory, which advises financial institutions on digital strategies. So, as they mentioned, the herd is coming. And also, PayPal says at some point this year, the company said it expects to allow users to tap their cryptocurrency balances for payments at millions of merchants that use PayPal. So, later on this year, they plan to let you spend your crypto everywhere you can use PayPal. All right. Nothing much to say here other than the Beeple JPG file sold for $69 million, which set a crypto art record. Interesting, huh? So, digital files are now selling for $69 million. So, if you're an artist, hey man, go ahead and jump in on this. See what you can get out of it. What does Weibo's takedown of Binance and Huobi mean for crypto in China? So, just yesterday, 3 of China's major cryptocurrency exchanges' official accounts on Weibo, the Twitter-like social media platform in China, were suspended without warning, raising concerns on whether this signals stricter regulations and more crackdowns on crypto-related activities to come. So the sudden shutdown came on the same day that China's People's Congress session came to an end, when China's premier, Li Keqiang, probably wrong, declared that the nation must resolutely crack down on those who commit fraud and illegal fundraising in the name of new forms of business. All right, so basically what happened is China's version of Twitter shut down the Twitter or their accounts of OKX, Huobi, and Binance, the main exchanges. Probably just some more scare tactics, in my opinion. China's been banning Bitcoin since 2013, pretty much. So I'm not too worried about it. Just figured I would talk about this. All right, another one. Crypto lender BlockFi raises $350 million at a $3 billion valuation. So nothing much else to say here other than BlockFi raised $350 million and now they're valued at $3 billion. So they are yet another crypto unicorn, and you can see that these high valuations are coming for all these fintech startups. All right. If you don't know what BlockFi is, come over to their website. You can basically they're going to have a credit card you can have to spend obviously your crypto, but you can also earn interest, trade crypto, and you can also borrow crypto as well. So, and if you come here and you can play around with the calculator, but if you had that magical number 32 Ethereum and you staked it away for 10 years, you'd make about $3,800 in interest a year in your Ethereum. All right. So you earn 21 Ethereum over a 10-year period if you were to do so. All right. Just wanted to point you over here. If you aren't in the Discord already, the link's in the description. We were actually talking about lending platforms in there as well yesterday, so I figured I would mention this BlockFi as being another one. You can land on a lot of different exchanges too, such as KuCoin and Nexo. That's another crypto platform you can use for lending services and so on. So if you have interest, go ahead and check this out. All right, and lastly, to finish things up, top analyst reveals biggest altcoin bag and names 5 crypto assets poised to erupt. All right. So anyway, this guy Kaleo, I guess you would say, he gave you a few cryptos he thought were primed to explode. One being the FTX token, FTT, which is the native asset of crypto derivatives exchange FTX. Also, so he said he thinks it's going to be $100 by summer. Right now it's trading around 37. Also the BitMax token, ticker BTMX. So he says this one looks good as well, along with Swipe SXP. We were actually talking about that one in the Discord as well yesterday. So anyway, I agree with these. I like the strategy because he's doing exchange tokens, basically. So FTX being the derivatives exchange, and then BitMax is also another asset trading platform. So I called BitTrue, and BitTrue I bought in at like 3.5 cents, and right now it's trading like 14, 13. It ran up as high as 20. And this has been over like a month and a half. So I expect these other exchange tokens to do well as well. You've seen it with Binance, KuCoin, Huobi, and so on. So don't be surprised. All right, that should wrap it up. Hope that was informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
Paper money is going away.
Yes.
And crypto is a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
That has its pros and cons.
Just to clarify, Tesla's not going to start selling Bitcoin anytime
No, we're
soon.
not.
Okay, you heard it here first, even though everyone thought that.
Yeah, right.